First place and in all likelihood the Great Midwest Conference regular season championship on the line tonight as Cincinnati hosts DePaul at the Shoemaker Center. And for tonight's starting lineups, here's a public address announcer, Doug Kidd.
Hello everyone, welcome to Shoemaker Center, the campus of the University of Cincinnati and the home of the Bearcats. Tonight's great Midwest Conference game with DePaul University. Now the starting lineups for the Blue Demons of DePaul. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 23, Curtis Price. Also at forward, a 6'7" senior from Peoria, Illinois, number 30, David Booth. At center, a 6'10" senior from Dallas, Texas, number 21, Stephen Howard. At guard, a 6' senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 11, Joe Daugherty. Also at guard, a 6'4" junior from College Park, Georgia, number 25, Terry Davis. And the head coach of DePaul is Joey Meyer. And now, the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. At forward, a 6'4" senior from Atlanta, Georgia, number 34, Herb Jones. Also at forward, a 6'5" junior from Long Beach, California, number 33, Terry Nelson. At center, a 6'10" junior from Monrovia, California, number 44, Corey Blunt. At guard, a 6'3" senior from Flint, Michigan, number 23, Anthony Buford. Also at guard, a 6'1" junior from Kenosha, Wisconsin, number 31, Nick Van Exel.
Oh, is this place loud here tonight? Cincinnati and DePaul will get it on. When we come back, it should be a great one. Don't go away. Along with Derek Dickey, I'm Tom Brenneman. Two of the hottest teams in college basketball. DePaul leads the overall series under Joey Meyer, following his legendary father, Hall of Famer Ray Meyer, and of course Bob Huggins, the mentor at Cincinnati in his third year, and what a job he has done. The last meeting, of course, back on the 15th of January, the last loss for these Bearcats. Derek, quickly, anything to look for that might make a difference in the game?
Well, I'm going to look for Cincinnati to try to establish their press and pressure as much as they can. Create some turnovers early against DePaul. DePaul wants to try to get the ball inside, let their big people pound it down low.
DePaul wins a tip. Daugherty runs the show. Cincinnati opens in a man-to-man defense. Davis, sparkling game in the win over Louisville his last time out. They like looking at the two seniors, Howard and Booth. Three-point try is off the mark, and Buford battles for the rebound. They'll go back after it again. It's won by Herbert Jones, the leading scorer and rebounder for the Bearcats. Been a lot of talk here. Didn't mean to cut you off, Derek, but Anthony Buford has said that DePaul snubbed him in a lot of ways, saying that Joey Meyer perhaps did not treat him as well as he should have been treated when he turned down DePaul over Missouri and elected to go to Akron. So a little bit of additional fire between these two teams.
Anthony Buford said not only because of that, but because some statements made by the DePaul players after the loss in Chicago, that this game to him is personal. He and his teammates are fired up. This is going to be one of the best games of the year in the Great Midwest Conference.
Nick Van Exel whistle for the foul. His first, team's first. No score. Not yet a minute gone by.
I think Cincinnati's going to try to force, if they can, DePaul about one or two steps out from where they want to receive the ball. They had an opportunity with a turnover there, but failed to convert it and turn the ball back over to the Blue Demons of DePaul.
Cincinnati likes to pressure during this 8-game win streak. In fact, they're forcing opponents into 23 of them per game, and there's a foul It'll go against the Bearcats' Terry Nelson, the junior out of Long Beach, California.
In the first game in Chicago, Cincinnati got in foul trouble early. DePaul was able to cash in on some of those free throws. You talked about that earlier. Howard Nathan was able to make some of those free throws. He was 8 for 8.
Another turnover for the Demons, and Joey Meyer saying just settle down. And boy, David Booth has been through so many of these kind of games. He just walks away with a grin.
Well, both of these teams are so anxious and excited about this game that you're going to see some turnovers early. But I'd say once we get about 3 or 4 minutes into the game, it should settle down to the point where guys are making the passes they normally make and putting the ball in the hole.
Look down low to Nelson. Good head fake, and he kisses it in. First points of the game. Boy, this atmosphere is absolutely electric for this game tonight.
Cincinnati again applying full court pressure, trying to force DePaul to either to turn it over or to pick up their dribble.
Booth, the leading scorer, goes down the lane, and he will be whistled for the charge.
Terry Nelson is the best defender for the University of Cincinnati inside, and he does a tremendous job. Look at Nelson, waiting. He's going to get position and draws the charge. The basket did count.
So that ties the game at 2-2. Bearcats with a basketball, 18:20 to play in the first half from the Shoemaker Center.
That is one of the most difficult calls for an official to make, whether the ball's released out of the hand or not. You almost need help from your partners as far as the officiating crew is concerned.
Corey Blunt, jumper, and he rattles it in. Blunt, the Junior College Player of the Year a season ago.
Bob Huggins is going to look for his big people, Corey Blunt especially, to try to get his hands on the basketball and score down low.
Davis tried it, couldn't get it, and look at Davis go to the floor to hustle after it. He's whistled for traveling.
Again, we're seeing a little bit of the anxiety early in these players, just trying to get control of the basketball. Take a look at the shot going up from the outside. DePaul's hustling. Terry Davis had a chance that it went through the legs of Herb Jones, but just fighting for the basketball. Both of these teams really want to get possession of that rock early.
And Price whistled for the travel for 2 Bearcats. Foul called underneath, and it looks like it'll go against the Demons, Stephen Howard.
Well, the biggest advantage in terms of either one of these teams getting in foul trouble early is that DePaul is leading the conference in free throw shooting. Cincinnati's at the bottom of free throw shooting.
Bearcats will turn it over. Or no, they won't. It'll go against David Booth. I thought the official had pointed the other direction there for a moment. In fact, he did, and Joey Meyer is arguing that call.
As we talked about a moment ago, Terry Nelson, as you see, gets great position out on the floor and has the ability to be able to find the offensive player and turn towards him.
Going to be a traveling call against Nelson as he was going to the bucket. By the way, that foul did go against David Booth, and Bob Huggins likes the sound of that. That is already Booth's second personal foul.
Both of these teams have committed 3 turnovers to this point in the game. It's still very, very early.
David Booth swings it over to Stephen Howard, second leading scorer, top rebounder for Joe Meyer's team. 4-2 Bearcats. They dump it into the big center out of Dallas, and it's taken away. Van Exel at the other end, and there was no call. Looked like there was contact down that way, and Van Exel missed the easy foul, and then Jones a silly foul.
Van Exel had a chance to go straight into the basket, but he thought the defender was over his back. Take a look at this steal by Nicky Van Exel, going to take the ball right into your living room. He's going up with his right hand, thinking the defender's over his back, but DePaul gets the rebound. Herb Jones is called with the foul.
For Herb Jones, his first, and that's a team's third. Another turnover by the Demons. Boy, they made a habit of just going right through that Cincinnati defensive pressure at the horizon. Already 4 turnovers in this game.
DePaul just wants to get the ball to the center of the floor. From there, you can distribute it left or right, but in anxiety, once again, you travel sometimes and you can't find your teammates.
3 minutes have gone by, and a 2-point Bearcat advantage. Jones down low, couldn't get it. Price a rebound, rips it out of there for the Demons. Davis, 15-footer, got it.
That's a good look by Doherty up the floor, finding Davis on the wing.
Davis, one of the most underrated players in the conference. He had 18 in the win over Louisville on Sunday, and As you see, Cincinnati not easy to beat here in the Shoemaker Center. They opened this building 3 years ago, and Cincinnati's only lost 9 times in it.
Terry Davis, without a doubt, is the most consistent player for Joey Meyer's basketball team.
Back on the arm as Buford got the basketball. And that'll be DePaul's 4th team foul. That'll be the first against Terry Davis.
The game keeps up at this pace. We're going to be shooting that extra bonus here in just a few minutes. That's 10 fouls.
Both teams a little nervous. Jones for 3.
Herb Jones likes to set up and shoot that outside shot. If he is able to cash in on his first one, usually that'll open it up for him to shoot 2 or 3 more.
Davis loves that baseline jumper, couldn't get it to fall, and Cincinnati's Van Exel, the last man to touch it. Howard Nathan has come into the game for the first time, so apparently his ankle is A-OK. Cincinnati, its first substitution. Eric Martin checks in there for Terry Nelson. Martin, a teammate of Corey Blunt's on that California champion junior college team at Rancho Santiago 1 year ago.
Bob Huggins likes to get quickness and agility in the lineup, hoping to create turnovers on the defensive end.
Howard trapped down in the corner. He'll try to get rid of it, and he nearly threw it away, but got it to Price. Price will take the jumper from the free throw line and knock it in. The first 2 for Curtis Price.
Very good patience by the Blue Demons. Getting trapped in the corner, Stephen Howard almost did get boxed in, but able to get the ball out and right to the free throw line for a nice, easy, wide-open jump shot.
Corey Blunt nearly lost it, pulls up, and it's good. Blunt has 4.
Blunt at 6'10" is one of the best shooters on this University of Cincinnati basketball team.
Look at Nathan. He forced one up there, threw it up there, and it was last touched by DePaul's number 23, Curtis Price. So Cincinnati will get the ball when we return. The Bearcats own a 3-point lead. Talk about the electricity in the air. This has been a much anticipated game this season. Gillette wants to know if you could make a 3-point shot for $1 million. Well, if the answer is yes, take the Gillette 3-point challenge. You could win a trip to the NCAA Final Four weekend to take the shot of your life. Look for details in your Sunday newspaper on March 15th. Take the Gillette 3-point challenge, your best shot at $1 million. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited.
Talking about that 3-point shot, DePaul's only taken one. They've not made it. Cincinnati's made their only shot from out there. Herb Jones cashed in on that.
Alan Jackson, number 52, into the lineup for Nick Van Exel. Check that in for Anthony Buford. There's a shot, and it's too strong. And look at Howard. And tied up there with Corey Blunt, and it'll belong to Cincinnati. DePaul won the opening tip.
Very close. Almost looked like Corey Blunt was over the back of Stephen Howard. Ball was called a jump ball. He had 3 players going after it.
Buford comes back into the lineup, and Herb Jones will sit down for the Bearcats.
So far, Cincinnati's also gotten off to a hot shooting start. They're shooting 4 of 6, DePaul 3 of 7.
Buford fires it up there, and it's good. That is a 3-pointer for Anthony Buford, who averages 16 a game.
That's the first basket by Cincinnati guards coming from the outside.
Whoa, a near silly pass here by Davis. Price almost had that stripped away. The Demons trail by 6.
DePaul's a very patient basketball team, always trying to look inside to get the ball down low.
Blocked by Blunt. Price goes up and nails it in.
Corey Blunt's averaging about 2 points a game, but as you saw, Curtis Price able to stay with that basketball and finish the play off over Eric Martin.
Eric Martin, a superb athlete down low. His minutes have become more and more as this season has progressed. You cannot leave Buford open. He missed it this time. Look at the rebound by the smallest man in the Bearcats lineup, and then it was knocked on the arm. The foul will go against Curtis Price, and that is his first, the team's 5th.
Curtis Price has very, very good hands. I don't think a foul was called. Looked like he may have stepped on the out-of-bounds line.
Pardon me.
But Curtis has extremely quick hands, able to tip the ball away from Van Exel.
12-8, Cincinnati leading DePaul. 14 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half. Glad you're aboard on this Thursday night. First place on the line in the conference. Van Exel, no good. Battle for the rebound. Jones is there. Goes up, had it blocked. Nathan the other way for the Demons. He'll go to the basket, blocked by Jackson, and then followed in by Doherty. What a defensive exchange at both ends.
Tell you what, Howard Nathan looks like there's nothing wrong with his ankle on that exchange. Not only was he able to take the ball behind his back, but go in for a layup and jumped as high as he could.
Stephen Howard saying he didn't touch Corey Blunt. Well, he knocked it away cleanly. That'll be already the second foul on Howard. So the two seniors for the Demons, Booth and Howard, each with a pair of fouls.
Both teams still trying to find a rhythm. Joey Myers changing his lineup. Bob Huggins also changing his. Trying to find the right chemistry. Take a look. Herbert Jones going in, getting the ball up. Nice block over the top by Curtis Price. Cincinnati fans wanted a foul, but there was not one.
Terrence Gibson in the lineup for the first time for the Bearcats. Tom Kleinschmidt comes in for the Demons along with Jeff Stern, the senior. And David Booth is back in there.
Jones trying to find his rhythm. Again, he did not play well in the first game, only scoring 10 points. So he's going to try to get himself off the mark here early if he can.
Martin goes right by Booth and misses a lay-in. Boy, David Booth stood no chance that time as Martin just went by it.
Eric Martin, a junior college transfer for Bob Huggins from Covina, California, as you said, played with Corey Blunt out there. Has the ability to take the ball to the hole and finish off a play, but he jumps extremely well, and that's something Bob Huggins is looking for him to do, be a little more assertive out there on the basketball floor.
Foul one against Tommy Kleinschmidt. That is his first personal, the team's sixth, as Martin misses his first foul shot. And we told you, Cincinnati, not a good free throw shooting team.
Eric Martin shooting only 60% from the free throw line.
Bearcats missed them both. Jones, a rebound, slapped away and stolen by Darty.
Another player for Joey Meyer who has extremely quick hands.
Brown wanted to walk. Great feed. Nathan to Kleinschmidt, who lays it home.
Howard Nathan sees the floor better than anybody out there. Talking to Ray Meyer a few minutes before the game, and he was saying that without Howard Nathan on the basketball floor, it would be a very long night for the DePaul Blue Demons.
Great feed down and low. Martin laid it in, but he was called for traveling, so no basket.
That's a play that Eric Martin likes to get the ball down low, but he needs to finish it off. But give credit where credit is due. DePaul played great defense, forcing that turnover.
Bearcats another substitution. Nelson back in for Martin. DePaul on a 6-0 run. Feed, Kleinschmidt, and it will be a charge against the freshman. Second foul already against Kleinschmidt.
Cincinnati just trying to do whatever they can to stop DePaul from going directly to the basket. Because once the Blue Demons have gotten past that first wall of defense, they're now trying to attack. They want to score, or at least get to the foul line.
Bearcats have been without a bucket for better than 2 minutes and 30 seconds now as they'll look to try and crack this zone of the Demons.
Ball looks like they've dropped back to a 2-3 zone. Cincinnati has not quite figured it out.
Alan Jackson running the point, starter through the first 16 games of the year. Lost his job to Van Exel. There's the crack in the seam, and Nelson got it in. Nelson with 4.
If you have patience against the zone and get the ball to the free throw line, you have an opportunity to see the court a little bit better.
Daugherty for 3, and it's good. Joe Daugherty, the senior out of Chicago, he has 5 to lead the Demons.
Tell you what, Joe Daugherty, who began his college career at Loyola of Chicago, knew that ball was going in before it left his hand.
Blunt looking around, nearly threw it away. Good hustle by Booth. Now Blunt goes to the basket, had it stripped away. He'll get it right back, stripped away again. And the Bearcats come away with the ball. Kleinschmidt runs into Jackson. That is Kleinschmidt's 3rd. And the Bearcats already in the bonus. Well, they're letting them play here tonight. I'll say that. There's been contact at both ends of the floor, but they're letting them go.
Sure has. And not only that, there's a little bit of talking going on, a little bit of wolfing going on out there on the basketball floor, which has created a great rivalry between these two schools.
Already the 17th foul, as we mentioned, against the Demons. So the Bearcats from here through the rest of the half will be going to the line on every single foul. Jeff Scott, Cincinnati native, 6'10 senior, comes in for Blunt. Jackson, one of the better free throw shooters on this Bearcats team at 70%.
He has been shooting better of late, shooting close to 75 to 80%. But DePaul is definitely going to put Cincinnati on the foul line, make them beat them from there.
Jackson, his first try to tie the game. He missed it. Rebound to Nelson. Head fake. Drew the foul, and he'll go to the line. Bearcats are 0 for 3 from the stripe. And for those of you that have not seen Cincinnati play, the Bearcats held an 18-point lead against Michigan State back in December. Spartans were ranked 9th in America. 18-point lead with 18 minutes left, and lost the game, really in large part due to the fact that they could not make their shots from the line.
Absolutely. In that game, Judd Heath, coach, sent his players at the end of the bench in just to try to get Cincinnati in to foul and send them to the foul line, and they failed to cash in. They had a chance to put the game away.
Nelson, his second try is true to form, and the Bearcats have recaptured the lead, 16-15 from the Shoemaker Center, and we'll be back after this timeout. For and approved by the Great Midwest Conference, any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of this game without the express written consent of the Great Midwest Conference and Host Creative Communications is prohibited. Well, when DePaul got into a conference for the first time, I think these were the kind of games they had in mind.
Absolutely. You want to get and create great rivalries home and home, but you also want to create an atmosphere where the student body as well as the community come out and support the schools. This is great.
Bearcats by 1. Not even midway through this first half from the Shoemaker Center. Buford back in there for the Bearcats. Davis pulls up, and he's good on the jumper. Terry Davis with 4. He averages almost 14.
Saw David Booth bringing the ball up the left side of the court, just looking, waiting for the right moment to hit his teammate, and Terry Davis finishes that shot off.
Alabama-Birmingham going out of the conference tonight looking for its 19th win of the year. Jones' shot can't get it to fall, and Jackson tips it into the hands of Booth. He nearly lost it. No contact, and finally a foul is called. It'll go, I believe, against Jeff Scott. Yes, it will. The seniors first.
Both of these teams still seem to be a little flat. Cincinnati and DePaul. They're shooting about 50%, even though it doesn't seem like that way. But from the outside, again, they're both shooting about 50%. But free throws, DePaul has not gotten to the foul line yet.
Booth for 3. No good. Look at Price get up in the air. He was the last man to touch it. While we have a moment talking about Curtis Price, he wanted us to send his best to his father recovering in a Chicago area hospital. Joshua Newsom, certainly along with your son, whom I'm sure you're more than proud of, we send you our best wishes and prayers for a speedy recovery.
So many times we fail to take for granted what the families do in supporting student athletes, you know, not just the basketball family, but also the families that make it possible for these guys to be out here.
Jackson couldn't get it to fall, and that looked like a goaltend. Nothing called. Wow. 1 point DePaul lead. Nathan leads the charge at the other end, and now he'll just reload on the offense.
It looked like a play you can do in Europe, in European basketball. Once the ball hits the rim, you're able to knock it out, but that looked like it had a chance to come back and hit the rim again.
Bob Huggins is just livid. Stern inside working on Scott. Had it blocked, and it's out of bounds. Demons take over. Take another look at the other end of the floor. That play a moment ago.
Very difficult to see from this angle because the ball's going to hit straight on the rim, but it bounces a couple of times and goes straight up in the air, and from there, it's tipped out.
Foul is called on the inbounds play against number 33, Terry Nelson. For Nelson, that'll be his second and the 5th against the Bearcats.
The last play, you saw Jeff Scott blocking the shot of Jeff Stearns. Jeff Stearns likes to turn to his left to get a shot off. Whether he's on the left side or the right side of the court, he still likes to turn over that left shoulder, which is something that Cincinnati coaches have scouted very well.
Joey Meyer and his staff do such a terrific job recruiting as well as getting this team to play. They seem to peak every year in the month of January and then into February and through the NCAA tournament in March, and this year has been no different.
These DePaul Blue Demons are doing just that. They're peaking at the right time. Early in the season, they did not have a lot of that consistency.
Herbert Jones whistled for the foul, and that'll be his second. They're trying to go down and load a Stern. Want to remind you, the Great Midwest Conference Championships, the tournament will be played at Chicago Stadium Thursday, March 12th through Saturday, the 14th, which will be the finals of that tournament. Tickets are still available at all the Great Midwest schools or at Ticketmaster, so please give them a call. It should be a terrific tournament in the first year of this, what has been terrific Great Midwest Conference. Stern can't get it on the first try of the night for DePaul from the line. Stern only a 45% free throw shooter.
Sounds like it's an adventure every time he goes to the line.
Davis a rebound. No good. And it'll be a foul against Terry Nelson. That is his third.
Failing to block out basic fundamentals.
No, they're saying the ball went out of bounds. Apparently there will not be a foul. So Nelson still with two. Jeff Scott comes out. Corey Blunt back in. Nathan goes by Jackson. Tried to dish it off. He forced that one. It's taken away. Nick Van Exel, the starting point guard, has been on that bench next to Bob Huggins for quite a while. And he is the Bearcats' third leading scorer. Nelson dropped it. Taken away by Booth. Demons the other way.
Both of these teams hitting the boards extremely hard on the offensive end. DePaul with 7 offensive rebounds, Cincinnati with 5. Nice execution and finish by Jeff Stearns, running the break.
So DePaul, its largest lead at 19-16. Told you about Nick Van Exel. He'll come in to replace Terry Nelson. Bob Huggins likes to do this quite a bit, go with a 3-guard lineup. And he has that now with Van Exel, Buford, and Jackson.
DePaul is playing great defense out there on the court right now. You really haven't noticed that Cincinnati's not scored in 2.5 minutes.
Van Exel has not scored a point. Buford for 3.
The last 6 games, Anthony Buford has averaged almost 20 points a contest. So he has indeed stepped up his level of play and come out every night looking to lead this UC Bearcat basketball team.
DePaul will inbound. Tie game, 19 apiece. First place is on the line in the conference here from the Shoemaker Center.
A few of the DePaul players made a couple of statements after that first game in Chicago about Cincinnati not being quite as tough or not quite as physical a team as they were told. And I think some of the Cincinnati players taped those articles over their lockers.
And David Booth, who some say was the man to make those statements, says he didn't say a word. So it's like that old saying, as Buford gets at the watch out. Buford's such an emotional player.
Bearcats have 4 block shots already, initiating the break every chance they get.
DePaul just did get it over. There's a dish. Stern will finish. Great patience by the Demons.
Absolutely. Getting the ball right to the right player's hands. Anytime you get it to Nathan Howard, he's going to create something for you.
Tie game, 21 apiece. Jones, a high arcing shot, no good. Rebound to the Demons, and Howard leads the break. Kicks it to Booth. He'll pull up, and it won't go. Stern last to touch it. It's out of bounds, and it belongs to the Demons. Buford, the last man to touch it. Timeout on the floor, 7:12 left to play in the first half. We are even. Well, as we expected, exciting basketball here at the Shoemaker Center tonight.
That's an excellent no-look pass by Howard Nathan, finding Jeff Stearns down to finish the play off. Corey Blunt getting the outlet pass. Anthony Buford going in to do the same for Cincinnati, but both of these teams are trying to take advantage of the turnover opportunities. Cincinnati with 6 turnovers, DePaul with 7, trying to cash in on those plays.
DePaul with a basketball. 21 apiece, 7 minutes, 12 seconds left to play in the first half. Nathan, such a fine player for just a freshman. Howard Nathan, of course, a graduate of the same high school as David Booth, Peoria Manual. Jumper by Davis. He's off the mark, and Blunt the rebound. Bearcats looking to push it up the floor.
DePaul's a very patient basketball team, trying to get the ball inside as much as they possibly can. both of these coaches are using their benches very, very well.
Dish into Stern. He went up, had it blocked. Price there for the easy basket. Curtis Price with 6.
Looks like DePaul has a height advantage inside over Cincinnati right now with 3 players at least 6'6" or better. Bob Huggins only has 1 player, Corey Blunt. There's a 3-guard offense out there on the floor.
2-point lead for the Demons. Teams will make substitutions. The next dead ball. Van Exel has been scoreless here in the first half. Buford for 3. No good. Blunt climbs the ladder, pulled down the rebound, and looks like there'll be a pushing foul underneath. And 23, Curtis Price, I believe, the man to get it. That'll be his first foul, and the team's 10th. So that means the Bearcats, Corey Blunt goes to the line for 2.
The outside shot from Anthony Buford. He seemed to have a rhythm. Corey Blunt going in amongst the trees, trying to get that rebound down. He was pushed from behind.
Blunt going to get a little help as Eric Martin checks into the ball game. Blunt, the Junior College Player of the Year last season at Rancho Santiago Junior College in California.
Early in the season, Bob Huggins for the UC Bearcats was starting 6'10" Jeff Scott and also Corey Blunt at 6'10" together. But the chemistry wasn't quite there. Scott lost his confidence. He made a rotation, inserted Terry Nelson in the lineup. Are we seeing field goal kickers out there tonight?
Sure looks like it, doesn't it, pal?
He just barely drew iron on that.
Bearcats 2 out of 6 in the line. Blunt will try it again, and this time it is good, so it is a 1-point DePaul advantage.
Shooting 50% against the Blue Demons is not going to win you the basketball game.
Howard has not scored a point in this game either. There's Davis for the easy bucket, and Davis making up for Howard's lack of production. Davis now with 6.
Terry Davis is such an athletic player. Not only was he able to catch the ball in stride, but able to go up over a 6'10" Corey Blunt and kiss it off the glass.
Van Exel looking to Martin. It's a 3-point Blue Demon lead. That matches their largest lead. Blunt from outside, no good. And Martin had it, but it comes away to Nathan. He always seems to be around the basketball. He'll try for 3, and it's no good. Rebound of the Bearcats, Buford. And taken away. Stern underneath. Goes up, kisses it in.
These teams, both of them, have such quick and very skilled players and able to steal the ball away from each other. This is indeed one of the greatest contests in the Great Midwest I've seen all year.
Both teams a little rocky. It's a 5-point Blue Demons lead. Gibson for 3. No good. And that'll be a push-off from behind against Corey Blunt. And DePaul starting to open up an advantage.
The Blue Demons, as noted, played very, very well coming into this basketball game, having won 10 out of their last 11 games. Playing with an awful lot of confidence.
That is a 17th foul against the Bearcats. The first against Blunt. So Stern will go to the line for 1, and what he hopes will be the bonus. With the next assist, David Booth will become the only player in DePaul history to have over 1,500 points, 600 rebounds, 200 assists, 150 steals, and 100 blocks for a career. I would say that's quite a career.
That is very impressive. But he's been on the bench for quite a while. I'm sure Joey Meyer's going to get him back in here as quickly as he can.
Stern has been a big factor for the Demons. He already has 8, and he only averages 6. Stern will go to the bench as this sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama, Michael Ravizzi, checks in.
Ravizzi's a big, strong, very physical player. 6'9", 225, 230 pounds.
Largest lead for either team in this game. It's at 7-4 DePaul.
Bearcats are not having much success with shooting the ball from the outside. They want to try to get it down low.
Van Exel.
Ball's not allowing it.
Van Exel, once he gets warmed up, he can be devastating. That's his first 3.
Tell you what, Howard Nathan is doing a tremendous job with controlling the flow of this basketball game.
Silly pass by Doherty.
Well, it's silly in the fact that Michael Ravizzi just came in the basketball game. He's not quite warm, not in the flow of the game. Under normal circumstances to your guys who leap, that's not a bad pass. But that was a very silly pass under the circumstances.
Crowd getting back into it. Blunt will try from 10. No good. Rebound to Ravizzi. He is an imposing figure, but he just walked.
Again, not quite in the flow of the game.
Timeout called. DePaul leading by 4. Will be back. Along with Derek Dickey, I'm Tom Brenneman back at the Shoemaker Center. 13,000, better than 13,000 on hand today, and goes back to your days, Derek, in the glory days of Cincinnati basketball. A couple of national championships, 5 consecutive trips to the Final Four, and you played on some great teams here as well.
Absolutely, but it's great to see the support of the home crowd here in Cincinnati, also in Chicago, also in Birmingham.
Eric Martin on the feed from Van Exel.
Cincinnati using a set play out of bounds, which they work very, very well. A lot of times with Herb Jones.
Pass off target. Nathan was there. Rebound to Price. Lots of bodies crashing underneath, and the foul will go against Buford. Boy, it seems as though Curtis Price is everywhere.
DePaul is just getting to the offensive glass. Take a look at the ball going up. It's an attempt at a high lob once again to Curtis Price, but DePaul has the presence of mind to continue to crash the boards, trying to keep the ball alive. Look at this pass. That's not a shot attempt. That is indeed a pass to Curtis Price over the top, but he stays after the basketball, and you have to stay after it until you finish it off.
So going to the line will be Curtis Price. He already has 6 points. This is his first attempt from the free throw line, where he's had his problems there this year. Blue Demons 2 out of 4 from the line. Price had 14 points and a team-high 6 rebounds in the 3-point win over Louisville on Sunday.
Curtis shoots about 60% from the free throw line, but you can tell pretty much when a player is not comfortable up there at the line by the way they release the basketball.
Demons applying full court pressure. Bearcats break it easily, 2-on-1. Van Exel will pull up and shuttles it up. Not there. Jones a rebound. Left hand is in.
Cincinnati crashing the offensive boards to get a second attempt. Both of these teams are so athletic.
And that'll be a traveling call. One official standing right in front of the play did not make any call, and then an official closer to us on the other side of the floor called it a walk.
Take a look. Howard Nathan coming right at you. Anthony Buford is just standing there. Nothing is called, and then all of a sudden he drags his back foot as he hits the ground. That could have been a charge. No call was made other than a travel.
Boy, this is certainly a game that neither coach so far is pleased about the officiating. Meyer and Huggins both have been up in arms at times over the men in the black and white. 1-point lead for DePaul. Cincinnati with a basketball. 3:05 left to play in the first half.
Bearcats starting to make a run back at the Blue Demons. 7-1 the last couple of minutes.
Van Exel for 3. At the other end, great feed, and Howard got it to go.
Great presence of mind, moving the ball up the floor. Terry Davis finding a streaking Stephen Howard going to the basket. Look at that, that's a nice play going underneath. Using his upper body strength, Stephen Howard able to find the bottom of the basket and get to the foul line.
Foul will be the second against Blunt. Howard's first 2 points of the game, and here we've played over 17 minutes. He had a huge game against the Bearcats in the win at the Horizon with 21.
And he's also the best free throw shooter in the conference, so you can count that one in the book.
80% for a 6'10" man. That's getting it done.
That's just good concentration. Walking to the line with a lot of confidence, knowing that you're going to put the ball in the bottom of the net.
1-point lead for DePaul. Cincinnati on a pretty good run right now. Jeff Scott back in there for Corey Blunt.
Van Exel trying to lead this offense for Bob Huggins, this motion offense, to try to find one of his open teammates. But as we talked about in the open of the show, he was originally a shooting guard, so he has the ability to go one-on-one.
As he did right there, and he drew the foul from Nathan, so Van Exel will head to the stripe for 2 and trying to give his Bearcats a lead. Bob Huggins in his 3rd year, 57-29. He came from Akron, and he is certainly a big reason why the basketball program has taken off.
David Booth has been on the sideline for quite a while in the stretch run where Cincinnati's coming back.
Well, you know, back in Chicago these days, Joey Meyer is a head coach who is not afraid to tell it like it is. Give credit where credit is due. And he says, quite plain and simple, that David Booth does not play because he doesn't play defense. Bearcats missed again on both free throws. They have been brutal from the line.
Nick Van Exel, another player who creates an adventure at the foul line, shooting only about 58%. It's not going to win you a lot of Division I basketball games.
Had a mismatch somewhere down low because Scott is guarding Doherty, the point guard. Now they finally find the switch.
Take a look at Price. He's hitting the top of his head, which usually means a high lob pass.
Davis, no good. Battle for the board. Buford saves in to Scott. Long ball feed to Jones, and he'll lay it in. Jones with 7.
Cincinnati trying to take advantage of DePaul getting back on defense.
Doherty for 3. All these teams blow for blow.
Finally starting to heat up. Takes a few minutes to get the lid off, but once these teams finally warm up, I think we're going to have a good, solid basketball game. See the ball go in the hoop a little bit more often.
Eyes and lead changes the name of this one so far, and there's a silly foul down low against Curtis Price, and that will be his 2nd. Cincinnati already shooting 2 as DePaul has gone well over the limit. And you can probably foul Cincinnati all day long and figure you can't be doing so badly.
Shooting only 3 of 8 on the night. Some of those free throws were the front ends of 1-and-1s. Had they made the first, they would have gotten the second.
3 of 9 are the Bearcats from the line, and Martin has been there twice tonight and missed them both.
Only shooting 60% on the year.
Pretty good rotation that time.
If he makes this next one, he'll be at 50% on the night.
It's got to drive a coach crazy, doesn't it?
Oh, indeed it does, because, you know, Joey Meyer and also Bob Huggins, they watch these guys in practice day in and day out, and they constantly work on these things. When you cross the lines is when you have to concentrate.
Foul underneath. That was a push-off from behind against Jeff Scott. So it is a 36-35 game, and these two teams will walk down to the other end.
Stephen Howard's going to go to the line and shoot 2, and you can pretty much put those in the book.
So both teams over the limit with 1:13 left to play in the first half. It is a 1-point DePaul lead. They're on the road where the Demons have not been nearly as solid as they have been at the Rosemont Horizon. Told you earlier that DePaul at home, 12-0, 4-5 on the road. Howard, perfect kind of player you love to have in your program. Terrific on the court, does everything and more you ask of him off the court, in school, in the community. Just a wonderful young man.
For those that don't know, Stephen Howard is an academic All-American and does just a fantastic job in the community as well as in the classroom.
Howard missed one. I don't believe it.
Paul is 4 of 8. They're shooting only 50% from the free throw line.
Howard good on the second free throw. Quick substitution. He'll go to the bench. Howard with just 4 points, and Jeff Stern, who already has 8, comes in to replace. 2-point lead for DePaul.
Paul's applying full-court man-to-man pressure, just trying to get in the way of Cincinnati, not allow them to run the ball up the floor.
Van Exel has warmed up a little bit here in the last couple of minutes. A pair of 3-pointers. And he's going to the hoop again. He'll kick it off to Buford for 3. Off the iron, Doherty to rebound.
Those Demons go after that basketball with some authority, don't they?
Better believe it. They got some guys that can do it, too.
They sure do.
Down low, forced it in, taken away by Van Exel. He has Buford off to the right. He'll go to the hole against anybody, and he'll draw the foul. Curtis Price, that'll be his 3rd. Wow, an untimely 3rd foul for this fine performer by the Demons.
Anthony Buford being one of those extremely intelligent players. You see the steal by Jeff Scott. Buford coming in, knowing DePaul is in foul trouble, just trying to advance it to the basket. Not a lot of contact on that last ball.
Now this man can shoot free throws. Maybe the only one in the UC lineup. Buford is 76%.
Over the last 8 games, Buford's shooting about 86%, so he is indeed someone that Bob Huggins can count on from the foul line.
Terrence Gibson, the defensive specialist for Bob Huggins, comes in along with Terry Nelson. Bearcats 5 out of 12 from the line. Buford shooting for the tie. And it is good. Nathan comes back in there for the Demons. And it looks like Price with 3 fouls who will go to the bench.
Let's see who takes the momentum into the locker room. The score is tied with 36 seconds to go. Usually whoever makes that last basket at the end of the half takes that momentum into the locker room, and maybe they'll come back out with it.
Not a wise foul there by Anthony Buford. That is his second. It'll send the Demons to the line. Van Exel in. Buford sits down. Ravizzi coming in for DePaul. And Howard Nathan will check out. Brandon Cole will go to the free throw line, getting very little playing time. This terrific young player out of Chicago, a sophomore, had to sit out a year ago, only averaging 3 points per game, and he's 55% from the line. This guy's going to be a good player down the road.
I'll bet he is, but this could, too, be an adventure at the free throw line.
People at home, Derek, are probably saying, why in the world can't these guys make free throws? And we shouldn't pick on DePaul because they've done it well all year.
Yes, they have. It's just concentration, and, you know, we talk about that all year, but you walk to the free throw line, and regardless of whether you're at home or on the road, you concentrate on the rim. The rim is the same height, the same dimension in every basketball court.
Getting ready to say, I thought Cincinnati would play it for a final shot, but Jackson forced it up there and had it blocked. Here's Doherty at the other end. He feeds, and it is good by Terry Davis, who has 12 seconds left.
Under normal circumstances, you're right, Tom. You would hold up for the last shot unless you have a layup.
And Exel's going to take it himself. Nope, he'll feed it into Nelson. He goes to Martin, and at the buzzer, Martin dunks it in, and we go to the locker room all tied at 39.
Cincinnati got the last basket, but still, we're tied the way we were at the beginning of the game. Who has the momentum? Being at home, Cincinnati may have a little bit.
All righty, so it's halftime, just what we expected in this conference showdown, 39 apiece. Conference, DePaul on the road, dead even with Cincinnati, 39 apiece. Both these teams on long winning streaks. The Bearcats at 8, the Demons at 5. Along with Derek Dickey, I'm Tom Brenneman, and I guess it's the kind of game we all expected. We knew these two teams would probably be a little rough around the edges as they were at the start, but both settled in to play a solid 10 minutes of the first half.
They're finally starting to find the basket on the offensive end in terms of making field goals. Neither team shooting the ball very well from the free throw line. They're actually making more field goals than they are free throws. So it's just a matter of them concentrating and settling down, as you say, and putting the basketball strategy into play.
What do you think Joey Meyer's saying at halftime right now? I guess he has to be pleased in a tie on the road at this point.
Well, I think Howard Nathan is the key for him to win this basketball game. He wants to try to get the ball in his hands as much as he can to get it up the court, but he also needs that leadership from his seniors out there.
And this crowd certainly will have something to say in the second half. It really is a terrific college basketball atmosphere here tonight, and the players have not let them down. 39 apiece. Back with more after this. DePaul and Cincinnati in the Great Midwest Conference at the Shoemaker Center. Better than 13,000 on hand, and they are dead even after the first 20 minutes of basketball. Tom Brenneman back at the Shoemaker Center, and my guest, a pleasure to have him, Tim Stevens, the assistant commissioner of the conference. And Tim, you and I have known each other for a couple of years now when you guys are putting this whole thing together along with Commissioner Mike Slive. This is the kind of game and environment you had to have in mind.
Well, I tell you, when you put the name Great Midwest on something, you had to be thinking about this. This is great college basketball, a full house, an outstanding on-campus facility, and two good NCAA caliber basketball teams really going at it.
You know, I want to ask you a little bit about the NCAA tournament. The Great Midwest doesn't have an automatic bid this year. Derek and I were talking at the beginning of the telecast. There could be as many as 4 teams from this conference go to the tournament.
That's right. We have right now 5 teams with winning records in the league, and we think all 5 are going to go somewhere in postseason as long as they stay above 500. Right now, there are 4 of them that, if you look at the power ratings or you look at the things like yesterday's USA Today where they're predicting who will be in the field, hey, there's 4 teams in the field right now. Our top 4, you know, we're rated as the 7th best league in America. You're the 7th best league in America. You start looking at who's above us. Number 6 is the Big East. They're going to have more than 4. You look at people below us, the Atlantic 10's right under us. They're going to have 3. What's the answer between where the Big East is and where the Atlantic 10 is, the answer is 4.
Well, I flunked math, so I'd have had a tough time with that one. Let's talk about the tournament. Now, a lot of people have been wondering how you go about getting tickets to the tournament March 12th through the 14th at Chicago Stadium.
Well, we've got the tournament going in Chicago. It is March 12th to 14th, like you said. And the tournament, right now, the tickets are available through all 6 member institutions, $75 for 3 days, and it'll be the tournament. The tickets are good for both the Women's Championship at Alumni Hall, the Men's Championship at Chicago Stadium. So you can get them through the local institutions, or you can go through Ticketmaster, and the number of Ticketmaster in Chicago is 312-559-1212.
Talking about looking down the road, a lot of people ask us while we're, in the various facilities around the conference about expansion. First of all, how true is the rumor, if at all true to it, about the merger with the Atlantic 10? Is there anything to that at all?
Well, there have been some informal discussions. At the NCAA convention, as Mike Slive, our commissioner, liked to say, the hallways are narrow and there's a lot of people in them, and you bump into a lot of people, and you can have some informal talks. There have been some informal exchange of information between the Great Midwest and the Atlantic 10, and that's really where it stands at this point. I think it's curious enough that they'll be continuing with some conversations, but right now the biggest concern for the Great Midwest and for the Atlantic 10 is to go through this season to get as many teams as we can in postseason play.
All right, Tim, it's a pleasure as always. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you at the tournament coming up next month.
Very good. Thank you, Tom.
Tim Stevens, our guest. We thank him. Our score at halftime from the Shoemaker Center, 39 apiece. Back with more in a moment. The Bearcats, and a very rocky first half, as we talked about, but it did have its highs and lows, and here are some of the highlights from the first half, and Eric Martin got the Bearcats on the board early on.
This set play out of bounds from Bob Huggins, just trying to get something exciting and happening inside. Nice lob pass from Nicky Van Exel to Eric Martin going on back door.
DePaul played terrific defense in his first half, and Howard Nathan, boy, did he put on a show.
Oh, indeed he did. He made a couple of nice no-look passes. This one inside to Jeff Stearns, who finishes the play off.
On that same exchange, there was a play at the other end. After Stearns' dunk, it was Anthony Buford's turn.
Boy, Anthony Buford comes down after another turnover by DePaul, finishing the playoff in front of David Booth.
Talked about Stern, Derek. He had 8 first-half points.
Indeed he did, but take a look at the outside shot going up by Nathan, but DePaul has enough intuition to stay after the basketball. Cincinnati's actually going to come down with a rebound, but DePaul stays with it, gets the steal, and comes back and converts a basket.
Stern, who got that basket. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll look at some of the stats from the first half. DePaul and Cincinnati in the battle for first place of the Great Midwest Conference. Dead even through the first 20 minutes, 39 apiece. Back with Derek Dickey, I'm Tom Brenneman at the Shoemaker Center. I asked you what Joey Meyer had to feel like at halftime. On the other side of the coin, how about Bob Huggins?
Well, Bob Huggins, I think, wants to try to get the ball inside to his team as best he can. Get the ball to the free throw line because DePaul was forced back into a zone. So what they can do from there is try to distribute the ball either down low or pitch it back out for those three-point shots.
Look at some of the numbers from the first half. Neither team shot particularly well.
Well, field goal percentages, again, are higher than free throw percentages, but in order to be able to win this basketball game, you got to finish at the free throw line.
Roll on with some more of the statistics from halftime. DePaul, another advantage in the key department of rebounding.
They're taking care of crashing the offensive boards is what DePaul's doing, showing that they're a little hungrier than Cincinnati at this point, but they're turning the ball over also. They have 11 turnovers, Cincinnati only 7.
In terms of three-pointers, really it's been a big advantage for the Bearcats, connecting on 5 out of 10. The bench points, normally it goes in a big-time favor for Cincinnati. They have a solid bench, but DePaul has been the better bench today, particularly Jeff Stern, who, as we told you, had 8 of those 10 points. And the blocks down underneath for Cincinnati, it has the advantage. The Demons, in terms of individual scoring, Doherty and Davis, Stern each with 8, Price with 7. Booth and Howard combined for only 6 points in the first half. As far as the Bearcats are concerned, Anthony Buford came in with certainly a little chip on his shoulder about this game. He has 10. Jones with 7, Van Exel and Nelson each with 6. And I think it is important to touch on it again, the fact that Howard and Booth have been basically non-existent in the offense, yet the Demons are tied on the road.
Well, they have to be very, very happy with where they are right now in this basketball game.
All right, so we're ready to go. UAB, a big lead over Bethune-Cookman out of the conference tonight, and Memphis State just getting underway in conference play, trailing at St. Louis. Nathan starts his second half for the Demons, along with Doherty, Booth, as well as Price and the big fella inside, Stephen Howard. Bodies hitting the deck already. Bearcats open with the same starting 5, and there is a jumper by Booth.
David Booth is coming out trying to find his rhythm early. You don't take an outside shot, you get an inside shot to try to get you back on the mark.
2-point lead for the Demons. Looking down low, and it'll be a foul, offensive foul, I believe, against Corey Blunt. Yes, it is. And for Blunt, that is his 3rd personal.
Talking with Ray Meyer a little bit at halftime, and he was saying that the referees are really not letting the guys play. They're not letting them play the physical style, either team, the way they are accustomed to playing.
Jeff Scott getting ready to check in, no doubt, for Corey Blunt. They're going to try and get that 4th foul on him immediately as they get it down into Howard. Blunt just standing stationary. Howard the leader and can't get it.
Howard doing just what you said, Tom, trying to draw the foul, trying to get Corey Blunt to leave his feet.
What a no-look feed, and Nelson converts. Oh, what a pass by Van Exel.
Nicky Van Exel has done a great job just distributing the basketball to his teammates. A perfect no-look pass inside to Terry Nelson, who shoots the ball over a high-flying David Booth.
Game is tied 41-all. Everybody just warming up for this second half. Jumper is off the mark. Rebound by Howard, and it will not fall. Van Exel. Travel.
That's a good call. A lot of times the referee cannot tell whether the player picks up his pivot foot or not. Nicky Van Exel actually dragged his pivot foot just enough to create that turnover.
Bob Huggins getting closer and closer to drawing a technical foul, and certainly that wouldn't be anything new for the Cincinnati head coach.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but Bob Huggins led the Metro Conference last year in technical fouls by a head coach.
Rather silly call there. Scott, a little bump against Doherty. Doherty hit the deck, and Scott gets hung with his 3rd foul.
Just trying to get the ball inside. Jeff Scott using his forearm. Again, not a lot of contact, but just enough acting to create that foul situation.
DePaul gets it in. Nathan, look at this little fella do his thing. Booth thought about it. Nelson got out there, and that is a blocking foul against Nelson.
The referee out front was about to call a charge. Seniority does rule sometimes. Take a look and see if the position is held.
If anything, it should have been no call.
You make the call. Absolutely. I agree with that. That should have been a no call.
That is Nelson's 4th personal, no, his 3rd personal foul. And the shot is good by number 25, Terry Davis, who now is in double digits with 10.
Once again, DePaul's got to feel very good with where they are in this basketball game right now. They're on the road, having won only 4 out of 9 games. They're playing very good defense against the UC Bearcats.
Van Exel penetrates into the lane, and it looked like Nathan, the man who will be whistled for the foul, Howard Nathan, is 2nd, and the team's 1st of the second half. Cincinnati will trigger. 2-point DePaul lead. Wide open, Van Exel for 3. That's almost automatic.
Cincinnati does shoot the ball very, very well from the outside. They shot 50% the first half, but trying to cash in early in the second half.
Nathan turned it over, and he is hurt. Oh, boy, this
turned his ankle.
Yeah, that's a bad sign. Boy, you have a game like this, and you just hope Howard Nathan is okay, because he is such a fun player to watch.
Take a look at Howard Nathan trying to go to the basket. As he loses the ball, he also turns that left ankle, and boy, did that look painful.
Nathan still down.
Take a look at the left ankle, if you will, as he's trying to get by the defender, as he tries to stop and put on the brakes. That left ankle, oh, that hurts.
Sure does.
That hurts.
Nathan tried to walk it off. He's on his feet now. I think he's going to have to come out of the game. He looks to be in some pain.
At least for a few minutes to get some composure. That hurts. I don't know if anybody at home has ever done that. I've done it a couple of 100 times, and if you have a tender ankle, I don't care if you step on a crack in the sidewalk or step on a rock. You're going to re-injure it, and it's just going to stay there. The only way it can get better is if you stay off of it altogether.
The ironic part about it for Nathan, he was not injured originally in a game. He and Booth went over to shoot around at Alumni Hall one day, having a little time to kill, and that's where he hurt his ankle.
Let's see if this can be an advantage for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
1-point lead for the home team. Buford for three, on the money. That's his third.
Sometimes all it takes is one change of fate to actually dictate the outcome of a basketball game.
Doherty for three, trying to answer Jones, a rebound. Kicks it off to Van Exel, little shake and bake, dumps it into Jones. No call underneath, battle for the rebound. Nelson is fouled. And that'll go against number 25, Terry Davis. That'll be his second.
Herb Jones is not happy. He thought that there was some contact underneath. He is actually walking around. Herbert usually doesn't display a lot of emotion, but the Bearcats had enough fortitude to stay after that basketball. Terry Nelson now going to the line. Let's see if he can give the Bearcats a little bit more incentive to win this basketball game.
Nelson a perfect 2 out of 2 from the line. Bearcats leading by 4. Nathan had to go to the dressing room. We can only hope for good things for the freshman out of Peoria Manual High.
That could be a very tough situation for the Blue Demons if he's not able to come back out, and not so much come back out, but be able to contribute to this basketball team.
Bearcats on a 7-0 run, and they keep it alive.
Anthony Buford got his hand on that, able to tip it back out to Nick Van Exel and start the offense all over again for Cincinnati.
Bearcats with the ball and a 5-point lead. Van Exel wide open again. This time he missed it. Howard, a big, strong rebound.
That's a good rebound. Clearing out, going up with the ball. That's a man playing with kids out there.
You're right. He is a strong player. 48-43. Doherty being hounded by Jones.
David Booth looks like he's trying to get hungry for the basketball.
Nelson, a terrific defender, and he is really using that powerful frame of his to work over the thinner Booth.
Indeed he is. David Booth only weighing right around 200 pounds.
Another turnover, stepped out of bounds. DePaul starting to become unraveled since their fine point guard Nathan had to leave the game, and this crowd is into it. 5-point lead. Knows she's acting like that at a college basketball game. Hey, Gillette wants to know if you could make a three-point shot for $1 million. Well, if the answer is yes, take the Gillette three-point challenge. You could win a trip to the NCAA Final Four to take the shot of your life. Look for details in your Sunday newspaper on March 15th. The Gillette three-point challenge, your best shot at $1 million. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Howard Nathan still in the locker room with that bum ankle that he twisted a couple of minutes ago.
Look for him to come back out here because he's such a tough competitor. I don't anticipate him missing a lot more of this basketball game. But Cincinnati's on a 7-0 run right now, and they've scored 14 points off the 13 turnovers that they forced on DePaul.
Mismatch somewhere. Van Exel dumps it into Martin. He'll challenge. What a block by David Booth.
Indeed it was. David Booth went up to meet that challenge.
Wow, what a block by the senior. Buford for three. That is his fourth. Look at Scott. And that's what Bob Huggins loves to see. He is applauding his senior.
This is the kind of college basketball game where your seniors need to step forward.
You know, it's a shame that DePaul doesn't have a chance to play at home in this kind of environment. It really is amazing to see this kind of game on this kind of a campus. And Booth quiets the crowd.
That's a tough shot. That's a very tough shot. David Booth has the ability to score almost anywhere on the court and immediately silences this crowd.
Jones tries to answer. Can't do it. Rebound to Doherty. 6-point spread. They're looking to Booth for three. Oh, the senior starting to warm up when they need him most.
Bob Huggins sending Terry Nelson back in the game. Get that man-on-body defense back in there.
All of a sudden, that 8-point lead is down to 3.
being very patient with their defense, trying to force Cincinnati once again to take a shot that they really don't want to take.
Jones posting up, Booth down low. He'll go up, can't get it to fall, gets his own rebound. He'll try it again, miss it again. A third try for Jones is a charge.
Herbert Jones is such a great competitor around that hoop, able to go up and get his own rebounds on 2 occasions and finish the play off.
Boy, we still have 14 minutes left. This is fun.
This is great college basketball. That's why they call this the Great Midwest Conference.
Amen to that. This conference is going to be oh so fine in just another year or two. Martin to take away, and here comes Van Exel. Martin, the guy he'll want to know. Look at the show. Oh, goodness. These two teams just have remarkable athletes.
Cincinnati able to finish off another play.
And at the other end, it's Stephen Howard.
Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Howard Nathan has come out of the locker room, and he is going to check in. We certainly are glad to see that.
That may force DePaul into a zone because a very intelligent team might force Howard Nathan to run all over the basketball floor.
That's a turnover against Van Exel. Good defense that time by Doherty. Stern comes in, told you Nathan comes in, and now Tommy Kleinschmidt rips off the warm-up. It looks like Howard, Doherty, and Davis will go to the bench for Joe Meyer. Alan Jackson, seeing his first action of the second half, will replace Herb Jones. Terry Nelson back in there. He's a man who's responsible for guarding David Booth. Booth has not scored against Nelson in this game. He's been working on some other people pretty well. Kleinschmidt in the corner, gets it away nicely, and now Booth will go to work. Kleinschmidt wide open, three-pointer, and it's good.
Tommy Kleinschmidt comes in out of Chicago, Illinois. Right off the bench cold and knocks down that three-pointer.
Kleinschmidt only his 5th three-pointer in 21 tries this year. 2-point lead for the Bearcats, 12:30 left to go from the Shoemaker Center. DePaul indeed kind of a sagging man-to-man. Buford lets fly, and it's good. 2-pointer. Buford has 4 three-pointers. He is a high-scoring man in this game now with 18 points.
Van Exel has 11 for Cincinnati, and Doherty and Davis have combined for 18 for DePaul.
Kleinschmidt had to pick up his dribble. Down one in the walk. Stern down low. Kicks it out to Kleinschmidt. And Booth, fade away, high arcing jumper, no good. Everybody getting after the rebound. It was last touched by Cincinnati. DePaul's basketball. Well, you might have time to get up and get something to drink, but don't you dare turn the dial. This one's going down to the final moment. We have seen some incredible athletic moves in this game by both teams, and certainly there's another one coming up here in just a moment from Nick Van Exel.
Take a look at the strip away by Eric Martin and get out to lead the break. Nicky Van Exel does a little Houdini move there, but being left-handed, it's a little deceptive sometimes to try to pick that ball up, and that was a nice play to shield his body with the ball.
4-point lead for the hometown Bearcats. DePaul with the basketball. Nathan had to leave a little while ago when he sprained his ankle, but he's back in there. Kleinschmidt goes strong to the basket, and Tommy Kleinschmidt, averaging 6 a game, has now collected his 7th points.
Tommy Kleinschmidt, such a good fundamental player. Knows how to take advantage of the defense, either playing up on him or denying him the basketball.
Bearcats in the second half have had either layups or 3-point field goals. They have not just hit a regular jump shot in the second half. Van Exel try to keep the streak alive, and does. Van Exel is 4 3-pointers. 14 points.
That's what's keeping Cincinnati ahead in this basketball game, making their shots from the outside.
Bearcats 9 of 15 from 3-point range. Booth dishes down low, swatted out of there by Scott. Bearcats the other way. Van Exel to Buford. And they'll trigger the offense. Looking down low to Nelson. Couple of head fakes. Through the body contact. No call. Rebound to Kleinschmidt.
Good defense by DePaul, being very patient. Stearns avoiding the foul.
Booth will let it fly, and it's off the mark, way off the mark, in fact, and it's out of bounds. Bearcats will take possession. Corey Blunt comes into the ball game for Jeff Scott, and the local boy will get a warm applause. Still quite a ways to go. It's one of those kind of games you wish would never end.
So far here in the second half, second chance points. DePaul has not scored, not gotten to the offensive boards to be able to stick it back in. Cincinnati has 6 points off those second chance opportunities.
DePaul will take over after the turnover by Jackson, and Howard Nathan is the man, along with Price, Booth, Kleinschmidt, and Stern.
Cincinnati in a triangle and 2 defense.
Boy, now that is a silly play right there.
It's a design play that DePaul trying to run over the top for Curtis Price, but Tommy Kleinschmidt misread the defense on that and threw the ball over the head and absolutely out of bounds. Only the cameraman could catch that one.
Kleinschmidt guarding Buford. He'll take him to the basket and lay it in.
Another design play by Bob Huggins to try to get the ball to the free throw line. Let his best player go one-on-one.
We told you this game was taken personally by Anthony Buford, and he has personally put a dent in the Blue Demon charge now with 20 points. Foul going for the basketball against Curtis Price, and that will be his 4th personal foul. So Price may have to come to the DePaul bench, although you're Joey Meyer, maybe you're saying we have a long way to go, but we can't get too far behind.
And you don't want to lose a player of the value of a Curtis Price because he's been playing very, very good basketball.
Probably the difference in this team right now.
Yes. Jeff Stearns is also giving some very good minutes out there.
Buford shoots it up. No good. Booth had it for a minute, and Nathan comes away. He gets to every loose ball.
No question about it. And once he gets the ball, he doesn't wait for the trap to occur.
Blocked by Blunt. And then knocked out of bounds by Van Exel. For those of you again at home who perhaps have not seen Cincinnati play, this is an absolutely raucous, swarming, defeating kind of defense.
Corey Blunt averaging over 2 blocks per contest. Does just exactly what he needs to. Gets out there, avoids the contact, and able to tip away that David Booth shot attempt.
7 blocks now for the Bearcats in the game. DePaul hanging around, though. Certainly a very solid chance to win. Nathan trying to make something happen. Great feed on his penetration. And drawing the foul was Stephen Howard. It'll go against Buford.
Howard Nathan just sees the court so very well, able to get the ball inside. See him try to penetrate inside. What he wants to do is draw the defenders to him, find one of his open teammates, and this time he found Stephen Howard able to get into the free throw line for 2 shots.
Buford with 20 points comes out. He won't be there long.
Just long enough to get his breath and to get some composure.
Stephen Howard, 2 out of 3 from the line. Told you the leading free throw shooter in the Great Midwest Conference. And he has missed 2 in 1 game.
It is very, very difficult to play on the road. The ball shooting only 5 of 12 from that free throw strike. Normally a 72-73% free throw shooting team.
Yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you that the home court advantage does not make a difference around college basketball.
Absolutely.
6-point lead, Cincinnati.
Try going down to Memphis State and winning a basketball game down there.
And we should point out that by no means does the winner of this game necessarily lock up a conference championship, because each team does have 3 games left in the league.
And also in terms of postseason play, there is no automatic bid.
Stern just went running through there. He wanted the foul. Van Exel will pull up and let fly. No good. Jones a rebound.
I think Jones wanted a high lob pass.
Nathan running down the other end. He'll give it to the senior Booth, and he'll get it right back. Howard thought about shooting, and that's an offensive foul. Joey Meyer knew it. He just can't believe, I think, that Howard was putting it on the floor 20 feet away from the basket. 6-point lead for the Bearcats. Back with more in a moment. 6-point lead for Bob Huggins Ball Club. His senior Herbert Jones, 9 points and 9 rebounds. Jones right behind David Booth in the scoring leaders in the Great Midwest Conference. And those two players really probably running neck and neck for the Player of the Year award, although certainly Jones the better field goal percentage shooter and rebounder. Players in foul trouble, both teams a boatload of it. Nelson, Blunt, Buford, Scott, each with 3. Price with 4. Howard and Kleinschmidt with 3 as well for the Demons.
There is a chance, we still got over 7 minutes to go, that this game could come down to free throw shooting. Certainly would be in the Blue Demons' favor.
Down low they go, and it's stripped away, but the Bearcats get it back. Blunt going to the basket. He'll pull up from 10, and it will not fall. Jones underneath with a rebound, and a Blue Demon the last to touch it, I believe it was Davis.
Coach Jones has not been scoring at his normal pace, but he has been going after the ball on the boards. He has 9 rebounds to this point.
Bobby Huggins, a superstitious sort. He put on that tie after the Blue Demons beat Cincinnati. For their last loss, he put it on for the first time against Memphis State. Hasn't taken it off since. Bearcats on an 8-game win streak, trying to make it 9 here tonight. The Demons have won 5 in a row. Nelson working on Howard, just threw it up there, and it's going to be out of bounds, or will it be a foul? Oh, he goaltending. I thought that ball hit the side of the basket.
It may have hit the side of the basket, but I wish we could see it. The ball, Jeff Stern slapped the back of the backboard, and that is indeed a basket, or it could be a technical foul. That's good basket. Very unfortunate for the Blue Demons.
Good pickup there, Derek. That's exactly right. Boy, Stern really no business going after that ball. It had no chance of going in. Nathan trying to thread the needle and threw it away. The Bearcats take over with an 8-point lead.
Tell you what, Howard Nathan's going to be a fun player to watch the next couple of years. He does things that you just cannot teach a player. He has eyes that are able to enable him to see all over the basketball floor.
Will be a future All-American for DePaul by the time he's a senior.
I think so.
Jackson takes him to the basket, kicks it off to Gibson. That is the 10th three-pointer tonight for Cincinnati. And it's an 11-point lead.
Cincinnati's on a 10-1 run right now, trying to get the Blue Demons to turn the ball over.
Nathan has thrown it away twice, and Howard draws a foul. Terry Nelson will be hung with his 4th personal, so DePaul still lots of time to trim away at this lead, although Cincinnati on a big run, as Derek mentioned. Nelson will go out. Martin comes in. Stern goes to the DePaul bench.
Still not enough fouls to warrant going to the foul line at this point, but both teams being very, very aggressive.
5th foul against Cincinnati. DePaul has fouled 4 times. Booth, throw it away. Jones, not the man to handle the basketball, and he'll show you why, although Martin picks it up, and then he throws it away.
You like to see aggressive play, but you also like to see the right players getting the ball in their hands. For the DePaul Blue Demons, they got Curtis Price, and they got Howard Nathan, and he's doing an excellent job.
DePaul has turned it over 3 consecutive times, and this is a takeaway. Gibson leading the break, looking for help, and they'll reload.
Blue Demons have 19 turnovers.
Jones working on Booth. Good job of defending by David Booth.
Booth, another player that's not scoring very well in this basketball game, but he is doing some things on the defensive end that's creating open opportunities for his teammates.
Gibson will let fly for 3. No good. And Gibson hustling after his own rebound, but there'll be a foul called against Eric Martin. He was pushing David Booth out of the way. Good call.
That was indeed a very good call. David Booth using his body to try to seal the ball. You see the shot going up from the outside by Gibson. Both players going after the ball. David Booth has his arm in the back. Eric Martin trying to use his elbow to shield him off.
Gibson comes out, Buford right back in. 11-point deficit for DePaul to try to make up over the final 5 minutes of this game.
Cincinnati picking up their zone defense out a little bit higher, trying to force that turnover.
Howard threw it up there, and then he swung and hit Corey Blunt in the stomach.
No room in college basketball for those kind of antics. Absolutely not.
Contact that time and a charging call against Alan Jackson. That'll be Alan Jackson's first, team's 6th. Or no, that's the 7th, so DePaul on the bonus.
Take a look inside. That's a great move by Stephen Howard to be able to occupy the middle on that play, but if a player is in the air trying to come down with a basketball, he has to be given enough room to at least establish his position. It was a very close call, but I think it was a good call.
Booth going to the bench. Schmidt comes in. Davis will sit down. So Joe Meyer making some substitutions here for the final 4:39. He needs his defense in for the moment after Howard shoots these free throws.
How about Howard Nathan, Tom? Went in the locker room with what looked like a game-ending severe sprained ankle. He's back out on the floor leading these Blue Demons.
Howard is good on his first try. 4 of 6 now from the line. Howard only with 8 points. And Booth has not had a big game either. He has but 9. Just to give you an idea about this Bearcats defense, DePaul averages 83 points a game. That is DePaul's 58th point.
Says a lot about the defense that Cincinnati applies the pressure on.
Big man Exel back in there. DePaul trailing by 9, but still quite a ways to go. 4 minutes, 39 seconds. Buford trying to push it across, and he just does make it by the 10 count. First place on the line here at the Shoemaker Center in Cincinnati. I'm Tom Brenneman with Derek Dickey. We certainly hope and think you've enjoyed this game. 67-58 Bearcats in the home white.
Trying to utilize the clock and get the best shot available. Cincinnati down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. You got a guard, a center guarding a guard out there.
And Van Exel takes him to the basket too strong, and Howard is there for another rebound, then threw it away as Jones gets it at the other end. Here's a 4-on-2, and Jones will turn around, and Cincinnati will set up its offense, nearly taken away. It's out of bounds off Jones's leg. Look at Howard. Howard Nathan caused that turnover, slapped it right off Jones's leg.
Great defense.
Timeout on the court. Joey Meyer's team battling back. 7:58 from the Shoemaker Center. Cincinnati in front of visiting DePaul. The Demons have won their last 5, a record of 16-6, 6-1 in the conference in first place. The Bearcats have won 8 straight, 19-3 overall, ranked 19th in America, 5-1 in the conference. So 2 teams certainly which will be headed for the NCAA tournament come March. Just getting together for a little preview. Nathan forced it up there and got it to go. That's a 3-pointer.
That's a tough shot. Herb Jones was actually on top of the basketball, but Howard Nathan still able to use enough muscle to get the ball in the basket.
Van Exel looking for help. And now being trapped is Jones, and it's knocked away. It belongs to DePaul. Cincinnati becoming perhaps a little too timid in its offense, and Joey Meyer knows what to do about that.
Well, indeed they do. They applied just enough pressure to get Herb Jones to pick up the basketball and have nowhere to go, and the ball goes off of him.
Nathan, rebound to Booth. Howard follows, and he will draw the foul and head to the line. That is the 8th-team foul against the Bearcats, so Howard with a 1-1. I don't believe that was a shooting foul.
I'd like to see this again because as in going inside, David Booth actually used his left arm to try to clear a path to get that shot off. There should have been called an offensive foul.
Howard heads to the free throw line. Howard only 9 points, and David Booth only has 9. But DePaul trailed by 11 a moment ago, but has put together a 5-0 run to trim it down to 6.
Just by applying enough pressure to get the Bearcats to turn the basketball over, has turned the momentum back to the Blue Demons.
Howard automatic almost from that line, 6 of 8 tonight. Joey Meyer and Bob Huggins. This is just the first year in this conference, and these two coaches will get it on many, many times over the next few years. Howard again in crunch time knocks it down. 4-point difference, Cincinnati in front. 3 minutes left to go. That'll be a foul against Doherty.
I think we are going to see quite a few fouls the last 3 minutes of this basketball game, and it is going to get down to the point of who makes the free throws. As long as Howard Nathan goes to the line, as Stephen Howard goes to the line for the Blue Demons, he's going to be able to keep them ahead. Blue Demons are on a 7-0 run the last couple of minutes.
Look down low. Jones thought about it, threw it away. Jones 3 consecutive turnovers. And that is a silly foul, frustration foul against Herbert Jones. And for the senior out of Atlanta, Georgia, that'll be his first foul, but the team's 9th. Jones goes to the bench.
You were absolutely right, Tom. That was a foolish foul from a senior, but it's desperate. It's frustration on behalf of Herbert Jones because he's not scoring on the offensive end. Things are not going well for him.
Howard Nathan, first trip to the line tonight, and it's good. Sellout crowd here tonight, attendance 13,176, and none has left because this game is going down to the final seconds. The lead is down to 2, 9-0 run by DePaul. Foul that time by Nathan. Nods in agreement. Buford, that is the 16th foul, so Cincinnati still does not go to the line.
One more foul will put both teams in the bonus. But Cincinnati has to take better care of the ball because the Blue Demons are coming right at them. Not only are the Demons scoring, they're not allowing Cincinnati to get in a position to score.
2 minutes, 48 seconds remain. 67-65 Cincinnati. DePaul doing very well with its pressure. Bearcats get it across. Buford goes around Kleinschmidt, but then Nathan takes it away. Doherty, he'll in control at the other end. Booth picks it up, and it's a tie game. Bearcats have turned it over 5 straight times, and Bob Huggins says timeout. DePaul rolling back, roaring back. And we're going to keep it right here for this timeout. Check out Huggins.
That indeed was an exciting exchange for the Blue Demons. They're on an 11-0 run. They were down when Howard Nathan went out of the basketball game. But take a look at the quick hands once again of Howard Nathan to tip the ball away and to get it out front to his teammates. And David Booth comes along, picks it up, and finishes the play off.
So Cincinnati has caved into this DePaul pressure, and another look at that takeaway, an easy basket by David Booth.
I think you made a good point, Tom. It looked like Cincinnati did get a little bit conservative in their approach to the basketball game. A couple of times they had numbers. They had more offensive players than defensive players and failed to attack the basket. Herb Jones turned the ball over 3 times, but give credit to the Demons in their defense. They did a tremendous job.
Back and forth the entire game. Cincinnati certainly a dry spell over this last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of play. They have not scored a point during that time, but give DePaul the credit because it's been that defense which has forced the Bearcats into turning it over repeatedly.
11 straight points.
Giving the Blue Demons just enough momentum to maybe come away with a victory here in Cincinnati.
What a win this would be for Joey Meyer's team. He realizes they're playing their best basketball of the season, but to come in here, their biggest wins this season obviously have come at home where the Demons are undefeated, perfect 12-0. They've beaten the likes of Louisville and Georgetown and so on and so forth. They've struggled at times, particularly early on, away from home, but what a win this would be for the Demons.
This is a very big game for both of these teams because they've both been playing such good basketball up to this point.
Alan Jackson will trigger. looking for help, gives it to Van Exel. Another near turnover by the Bearcats, who look less than shaky at this point handling that ball outside. DePaul swarming, trapping defense right now.
Cincinnati still on the perimeter, not really trying to attack the basket.
Shot clock at 20. 2:08 on the game clock. Near takeaway again. Buford will go inside, spin, turn, shoot, got it.
Tough shot by Anthony Buford going into the defense with the middle cut off, able to spin away from the defender and knock that shot home. That's a tough shot. He had to work for that one.
All right, Cincinnati lands a blow. Can DePaul come back?
Cincinnati still in that zone defense. Looks like a triangle and two. Trying to force the Blue Demons out high just a little bit further.
Kleinschmidt, good head fake, drives down. Doherty lost control for a second, missed the shot. Rebound back to Doherty, and he feeds it over to Price.
Howard wanted to travel.
Howard looking for help, fires it outside. Plays 45 off that rebound for DePaul. 1:15 left to go. Cincinnati a 2-point lead, and DePaul wants a timeout. So a minute 15 left to play from the Shoemaker Center. First place on the line in the conference. Joey Myers, DePaul Blue Demons trailing Cincinnati with a minute 15 left to go. The shot clock is at 30. Who do you go to?
I think you want to try to get the ball obviously in the hands of Howard Nathan, but you want to look inside. You want to get David Booth involved with the basketball.
Cincinnati has Buford guarding Booth now. Howard, man-on-man defense down low against Blood. There's Booth. Doherty. Down low, right back to Booth. Turn around, jump hook, and he got it.
That's a tough shot. David Booth turning over his left shoulder and throwing up one of his patented one-hand hook shots.
All right, game clock is at 45, shot clock at 39. Cincinnati with the ball. It is tied at 69. Jones on the right wing.
Very important possession for Cincinnati. They need to get the ball inside, but they've been shooting it well from the perimeter.
Van Exel. Buford probably the man they want to have it. He'll shoot from 15. No good. Rebound to Kleinschmidt and the Demons. And that's a foul against Anthony Buford. 22 seconds left to play. That is the 10th team foul against the Bearcats. So that means Tommy Kleinschmidt heads to the line for a pair.
Take a look at Buford going up for the jump shot. He's pushed a little bit by David Booth, but no foul is called. Tommy Kleinschmidt comes out and maintains possession of the basketball. Cincinnati trying to swarm, and Anthony Buford getting charged with his fourth foul.
So Kleinschmidt, the freshman.
Is this a lot of pressure for a freshman on the road in a hostile environment?
And Bob Huggins going to try and ice him a little bit. This will be the first trip to the line for Tommy Kleinschmidt. Well, this has been such a back and forth kind of game in a lot of ways, although I don't think we can say enough about this man and his staff telling his players and making them believe they can still win despite being down by 11 points with about 4.5 minutes left to go in this game.
But both of these coaches are aware of what they need to do. Bob Huggins is a defensive master, and Joey Myers had his team go into a defensive trapping situation, put Howard Nathan at the top of that defense, and he created some turnovers to get the Blue Demons back in this basketball game.
A couple of other scores from around the conference. UAB told you went out of conference and hammered Bethune-Cookman tonight. One other conference game being played between Memphis State and St. Louis, and the Tigers with the 16-point advantage. But the situation here is the game in the conference. 22.1 seconds left, 69-69. Kleinschmidt is heading to the line as you get a longer look at the Tiger lead over St. Louis. But should Cincinnati get the ball back down two, I got to believe it's going to be Buford again.
I think so. There's no question about it. Van Exel's going to try to go one-on-one and create something, go into the middle if he can, but pitch it back out to Buford, hopefully for an open jump shot. But Tommy Kleinschmidt has to make these free throws.
DePaul already out on the floor, huddling by the free throw line. That conference breaks up. Cincinnati will now come walking out of its huddle. All tied up. Kleinschmidt on the season, a 78% free throw shooter. First trip there tonight. Too strong.
It is a lot of pressure being on the road. And the freshman.
Demons, 12 of 20 from the line. Kleinschmidt gets one more.
Basic fundamentals have to come into play with Cincinnati in terms of blocking out.
Too strong again. But DePaul the rebound. Price got it, trying to get a timeout.
He got it.
And he did get it. And again, we'll keep it here. Boy, what a rebound by Curtis Price.
Basic fundamentals. Cincinnati failed to block out. Looked like Terry Nelson's side of the floor. You have to put your body on the man, and I don't care if you get a foul called, you back out to the point where your man cannot get that basketball. Good job inside by Terry Davis. Or was that Curtis Price?
Curtis Price.
Curtis
You got to
Price.
figure that Joey Meyer would get his main gun back in there offensively, and he has, as David Booth has checked right back in. Blunt will come in for Cincinnati. So 18.9, and you figure DePaul will hold to the final try.
That's DePaul's 16th offensive rebound, and just keeping the ball alive was a big issue for them. Now they have to try to get the ball in the right player's hands. Howard Nathan may take the shot. Don't be surprised, but you know we got less than 19 seconds here. He may want to get it in the hands of David Booth.
Bob Huggins, meanwhile, trying to figure out who will be defending who when the Bearcats come out defensively, and that guy probably trying to figure out who he should be guarding. Perhaps he should be home at right about this bewitching hour.
This is a great college basketball game. This is what we live for.
The Great Midwest Conference, in its inaugural year, will crown a regular season champion after the games of March 7th, and then a conference tournament champion. And again, a reminder, you can still get tickets for the Great Midwest Conference Tournament, which will take place March 12th, 13th, and 14th at Chicago Stadium. So here we go. DePaul has Booth, Howard, Nathan, Doherty, and Kleinschmidt. Nelson guarding Booth, and that is a foul, a reach-in foul by Alan Jackson. So they're going to put Howard Nathan on the line.
Nathan got a 70% free throw shooter.
Nick Van Exel going to come in for offense. Booth goes to the bench as Price comes back in there. Howard Nathan, 2 out of 2 from the line tonight. 70% for the freshman on the year. So another freshman gets a chance for DePaul.
This young man's played with ice water in his veins tonight. Drains it.
He is tough. Howard Nathan, 6 points.
Now, Tom, if you're Bob Huggins, if he makes this free throw, do you go for a 2-point shot or do you go for the 3?
I go for the 2.
I agree. I think you go for the best shot available, probably a 2.
17 seconds now, 15. Blunt hands off to Van Exel. Clock down to 12. You see it in the lower right-hand corner. Van Exel being guarded. Shot clock now, and it's stripped away by Nathan. They throw it the length of the floor. DePaul is going to win. And there's a shot down to the buzzer, and Cincinnati has fallen to the Demons. And Bob Huggins, I think, in the final seconds got thrown out, and he is going belly to belly with the official. This is an ugly scene here at Shoemaker Center. The DePaul Demons walking off triumphantly as they have to separate Huggins from the official. Joey Meyer walking off the court. Our final score, 71-69. We thank you for being with us. So along with Derek Dickey, I'm Tom Brenneman saying thanks so much for watching and good night from Cincinnati.